The Denver Broncos' first preseason game happened right here at Broncos Field at Mile High Stadium, and you saw that this team has some things to work on tonight. I want to talk about the backup quarterback situation, which seems to be what everyone wants to talk about, even though Vance Joseph kind of directed the narrative towards the starter in Case Keenum earlier this week, saying that Case is the story. Well, we know Case. Now, Case Keenum was 1 of 4 tonight. He had one completion to Demaryius Thomas. He told me after the game, like, I'd love to complete it to more of my receivers, including a Cortland Sutton, stuff like that. So with Case Keenum, we're good to go. You know, there's no worries there. There's no concerns there. But when 20 of 32 teams go to their backup quarterback last year in the NFL, you know you have to be ready. And the Broncos need to find out if Paxton Lynch or Chad Kelly are ready to do that, or if they're ready, in fact, to pick up the phone and try to find another quarterback, whether that's a Matt Moore, whether it's trading for a Teddy Bridgewater, something like that. So this evening we saw clearly that the stage is not too big for Chad Kelly. Whereas Paxton Lynch was getting booed on the field in his performance when he left the game, you saw Chad Kelly come in with wild cheers from this Broncos crowd. And you also saw the crowd a little bit later chanting, Kelly, Kelly, Kelly. So obviously Broncos country is very interested in seeing what more Chad Kelly can do. And you know, out there, he didn't seem like a deer in the headlights. He didn't seem like a guy that, you know, couldn't play at this level. It had been 646 days since he'd played a game, and he knew that. In the locker room, and asked about how long it's been since you've played in a game, and he's 646 days. He just knew it. He's probably been counting down. He's probably been anxiously awaiting for this moment. He also emphasized how, you know, his mistake, he threw an interception late in this game, kind of cost this team that chance to come back and make a play. He really wanted to win this game. And you see that passion there with Chad Kelly. Now, in terms of Paxton Lynch and what's going to happen there, it looks like Kelly is better than Lynch. Now, Kelly was playing against the 3s and Lynch was playing against the 2s. Do we finally see Chad Kelly get those second-team reps? They hadn't gotten to this moment in training camp whatsoever. Not a rep, not a day, not a throw, nothing. Nothing like that had been the case. But after this game, you'd have to consider the fact that Chad Kelly earned that right. He earned the right to get a bump up to at least see what he could do against a better defense and against a second-team defense with Paxton Lynch. It's, you know, more of the same in terms of batted passes at the line of scrimmage, off-target throws, you know, kind of working some shorter stuff, not really taking strikes downfield. It's something that was curiously absent from the game plan. I know they don't game plan, but it was absent from the game against the Vikings. They didn't really stretch the field. They didn't really see what Cortland Sutton could do on one of those deeper routes. So we'll see if that can pick up and continue as the preseason goes on. Also, we need to see if Royce Freeman becomes the starting back. Now, I talked to Vance Joseph after the game and asked him straight up, is Freeman showing enough to be your starter, to be your lead back? And he emphasized pass protection. It was very noticeable in his answer to me that the first thing he talked about was pass protection, not necessarily about the big touchdown run where Royce Freeman, you know, and after the game in the locker room talking about how he set things up inside and then bounced it outside at the second level. It's exactly what young runners need to do. We see young runners, talented rookie running backs across the league. Nick Chubb with the Browns didn't do anything in his first preseason performance. Ronald Jones with the Buccaneers didn't do much of anything in his first preseason performance. Even those guys, you know, scored touchdowns, they also averaged like a yard a carry. You saw with Royce Freeman, it's that inside-out ability that makes him perhaps a special runner for the Denver Broncos. And in the competition with Devontae Booker, where Booker only got a couple of carries, Royce Freeman got more. And Royce Freeman looked like the best running back runner on this roster. But, as Vance Joseph told me, he needs to work on that pass protection. And if he does that, he can be the starter for these Denver Broncos. So one game is in the books. We know that there's a lot of things to do. It didn't go perfectly, but, you know, last year they were undefeated in the preseason and finished 5-11. So you go back to the film, you go back to studying what you need to pick up on in practice. We'll see the Broncos carry that forward from here on out with the, of course, joint practices with the Bears next week and then throughout the rest of the preseason. And this Broncos team with a lot to work on gives you a lot to think about and a lot to talk about, of course, every day with your best Broncos coverage on Denver Sports Station, Sports Radio 104.3 The Fan. I'm Cecil Lammey saying thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.